everyone, welcome to p-value. So what is the p-value? When we're doing a hypothesis test, we have our normal distribution for our sampling distribution. We have our sample statistic. We have an alternative hypothesis. Oops. Our alternative hypothesis says that we are looking at for, I don't know, mu is less than some number. Let's go with 20. The less than sign, the alternative hypothesis sign tells us which way to shade. So since it said less than, we should shade that same direction. So we shade the same way as our alternative hypothesis statement. The probability of that region is our p-value. So essentially the p-value is the probability of a sample being as extreme as ours. So going a little more precise than that in terms of how we interpret the p-value. The p-value is the probability of getting a sample the same size as ours. So the p-value is the probability that a random sample the same size as ours would get a sample statistic here we have a choice, lower than or less than, greater than, or as extreme. As ours if the null hypothesis were true. So let's just go ahead and do one quick example. So we're running a study to determine if California community college students average more than 15 hours of work a week. So we're looking at the average and we're looking at more than 15 hours. So before we do anything, let's just put down that our alternative hypothesis is that the average is greater than 15. Our null hypothesis is therefore that the average is equal to 15. Our sample, we had a random sample of 100 students, and that sample averaged 17.5. So if we look at our picture, at 17.5, and we are looking to the right because we are looking at an alternative hypothesis of more than. So we should shade to the right since our alternative hypothesis was a more than. more than. So we shade right. And then we're told that this p-value, this probability is 0.0243. Otherwise known as 2.43%. So essentially, there is a 2.43% chance that a random sample of 100 California community college students would average 17.5 hours of work sorry, 17.5 hours of work or more. Let's rearrange this. 17.5 or more hours of work a week if the null hypothesis were true. So if the true average for California community college students is 15 hours of work a week. So again, this is our p-value. Next up, we have our sample size. The 17.5 is our sample. The or more is the direction of our alternative hypothesis. And then the huge if is our null hypothesis. So this is how we go about interpreting our p-value.